Hi everyone, my name's Holly and I'm just making this video because I wanted to look ahead into the new year, into 2020, and we're just going to ignore the enormous brain block that I get thinking that it's a new decade, and see some anticipated reads. Now, I didn't dive too deep. I just looked at some lists, looked at some publishers, and sort of picked out some books that I am personally intrigued about. I know there are a lot of other books coming out that the YA community especially is probably anticipating heavily. I think there's some Sarah J. Maas, for example. But this list is a little more personalized, just what I myself am intrigued to see. And the thing about publishing is sometimes they'll announce things later, especially in the spring and summer. You'll start hearing about books coming out in the fall a little more. I just wanted to take this time to see, as of December 15th, I think it is today, what we have to look forward to. So this list isn't in any particular order, I'm just gonna get into it. Coming out May 19th, 2020 is the new Hunger Games book. And I don't know that I'm excited for it. I am definitely intrigued by it. I think it sounds like such a money grab. Even the title is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is such a typical YA fantasy title right now. Like that sort of pattern and structure that I'm kind of unimpressed that we're getting a prequel. It just sounds like a cash grab. And I hope it's actually just as heavy and real and gritty and analytical as the original series was. Probably my most anticipated book for 2020, like overall, is the fourth book in the Diviners series by Libba Bray, The King of Crows, which is coming out February 4th, 2020. I have been reading this series pretty much since it came out. We have had a long wait to get to this final book, and it has been worth every second. The series is phenomenal. It's diverse and doesn't just deal, it grapples with history and memory and our past and how we structure and remember our past in such an amazing way that I've reread some of the books a couple times now, and every time I'm blown away by what Libba Bray has done with these books. I'm actually, like, my heart is racing a little bit thinking about that book. The next book doesn't have an official release date yet, but the, I believe, final Trials of Apollo book by Riordan is coming out, called The Tower of Nero. I haven't even read the fourth one yet, but I'm hoping to finish both of them, I guess, in the new year. And I'm kind of sad that that's ending, because I'm not sure, at least I haven't heard, whether Riordan is writing any more mythology books himself. I do have all of Rick Riordan Presents to get through, but it's a little sad. It feels like an era is truly ending. And then apparently coming out April 30th, 2020 is Alice Oseman's new book, Loveless, which is about an asexual main character, and I believe also aromantic. I'm so excited for this. I've read all but one of her books so far. I've been following Heartstopper. It's so cool to see more and more representation coming out, and I know this book means a lot to the author personally. It's something that I think she's been thinking about a lot and working through a lot of her own feelings, and it's going to be so beautiful to see what comes of this deep dive into herself. And then also coming out February 4th, 2020, it's a good day, is The Gravity of Us by Phil Samper, which I just read a brief description and I am so here for this. So basically we've got this kid and his dad is selected for a special mission to Mars. And so his entire family is relocated for all this training and stuff, and he meets another boy, and it sounds like there's some potential romance there. And then on top of that, there's conspiracies with what's going on with this NASA Mars mission, and they have to uncover things and try and reveal things. And also, apparently coming out in 2020, I have no idea whether this is actually true or just really hopeful thinking, there's supposed to be a new Morgan Matson book. There's no title, there's no cover, there's no official release date. But we are supposed to get some more Morgan Matson. Bring it to me. Yes, I've loved every one of her books so far, and I missed it. I've read one every summer, and then this past summer I didn't have one to read, and I felt like I was missing something. Coming apparently in September 2020 is an anthology book called Vampires Never Get Old, and we've got a bunch of authors coming together to reimagine vampires, which I think, given YA's history with vampires, is going to be phenomenal. And I hope that there are lots of pokes and jabs and making fun of Twilight in there. I read Twilight. I had my Twilight phase. I am glad to have put that behind me, but I am kind of here for vampires coming back, and I hope that they come back with a less glittery appeal and more of the classic vampires we all know and love. Maybe some more Buffy vibes. I think it's just official that February 4th is going to be a beautiful day. We also have another book coming out with Becky Albertalli and Aisha Saeed. They are co-authoring a book about a boy and a girl who are sort of forced into political canvassing kind of against their will for the party that they support. And we've got one character who's just a really awkward guy who's really happy to be politically active but wants to be more behind the scenes, not literally talking to people door to door. And we've got another character who just is having a really bad summer. Ramadan's not going well and her summer trip's cancelled. I think there's some drama with her friends and stuff, and they're sort of forced to work together. And it's a book about youth activism and youth political activism in particular, and political engagement, and then also apparently a cross-cultural romance. And I trust Becky Albertalli. I am curious. I don't think I've ever read by anything Aisha Saeed, and so I'm just excited for all these books. I am so excited for this book. I trust it's going to be good. I don't know, it's been a long time since I've like really gotten excited about anticipated releases and sitting down and just focusing on it, not just being like, oh, that looks cool, add it to my Goodreads wanna read page thing. I don't know, I feel giddy inside. I feel like a little kid, like excited for like Christmas or something. And then the last book I have, I was just starting to scroll through lists and lists of upcoming books, and I saw one that looked like the Toronto skyline, so I stopped on it, and then there was a rainbow like pathway into Toronto, and yes, you never get books set in Toronto, and especially YA, and gay, yes please. So apparently it's I believe a road trip book about two kids coming from the West Coast and the East Coast to meet at Pride in Toronto. Yes, yes, yes. And the authors are Tom Ryan and Robin Stevenson, and they're each sort of representing East Coast perspective. And yes, you don't understand, there's lots of adult books because there's a thriving publishing community in Toronto, set in Toronto, but like YA? No, nothing. And gay and road trip, these are all yes to me. And the Toronto skyline on a cover, yes. I hope it's really good, but I find any book set in Toronto I like love a little bit because it's like, I know this place, I've been there, I've been to that street, I've crossed there, I almost got hit by a car there, that's where my subway got stuck, this is so great. And I think some people that live in like New York or London or anything like that, they get stories set in their places, and Toronto, Canada in general, just has a hard time. We tend to get merged in with America with a lot of our media. We tend to just watch a lot of American media, and if we're not watching American media, it's probably British, and we don't have a thriving Canadian media that's really mainstream or anything. So you have to go out of your way sometimes to find things that are really Canadian. So I'm sure there are going to be more 2020 books that will be announced or that I just haven't heard about or forgot about, it didn't come across in my journeys. And we will address those as they get there. But right now, looking in December into 2020, these are the books I am most anticipating. And I normally like making lists of books I'm anticipating like so hard for the next year, and then at the end of the year I look and see if I've actually read any of them. And I think I want to make it a goal to like actually read these books this year. It's not bad if you wait to another year, but I'm excited about them. I want to go and voraciously read them because I'm excited about them, which I feel like I haven't done in a while because I'm always prioritizing the books I've had on my shelf the longest. Okay, I still don't know how to end a video, so bye!